June 9th, Valve released a piece of SteamVR software called Destinations into early access. This program acts as a Source 2 SDK for VR developments, which is pushed to help create the postcards seen within the lab. Included are 2 new demonstration postcards, being an English church and the surface of Mars. Having the ability to develop postcards in the hands of everyone is very interesting. What is also interesting is the fact that the postcards seen within the lab were rendered in Unity, where all the things in Destination are seen in Source 2. Now, most importantly is all the data mining that happened immediately following the release. And although most of what was found is old, some is very important in telling us what Valve is currently doing. A reference to an imported Source 1 headcrab model for a Half-Life 3 named game, along with references to Left 4 Dead 2 being ported into Source 2. Units located in an RPG, along with helicopter crash references seen within Hammer. Most interestingly, however, is the HLVR scripts, listing prop hand, prop flashlight, prop trip mind, and weapon base, all with the prefixes of HLVR. Now, speculation, this seems to be more of an experiment, as this is the first time anyone has seen any of these HLVR strings. Half-Life 3 was already confirmed to not be a VR game, so these are most likely experiments conducted within the Half-Life universe. Other older references not really talked about before include a helicopter crash scene, a Half-Life 3 texture reference, and a hint towards Valve completely rebuilding their Squirrel scripting system from Source 1, with a string in a new scripting format referencing Half-Life 3, which, speculation, seems to hint towards heavy game development on Valve's part, especially since the Half-Life 3 reference goes along with then this string in a completely different syntax that is normally seen within Squirrel. And with all these references to possible future Valve games, I'm brought to a topic many are upset about: Valve and E3. Now, the majority of E3 announcements have just ended at the time of writing, and Valve fans are unfortunately disappointed, as usual. Honestly, most would have gone into this convention without wondering Valve being there at all, if it wasn't for Jeff Keighley saying 10 years. It ended up being Kojima, which is fine, but how have people been waiting 10 years for Kojima? 10 years. This prompted the Half-Life subreddit to start trying to contact Gabe Newell over Reddit itself. The fact is, Valve doesn't go to E3 most of the time, and to be honest, they generate more buzz when they don't attend. What bothers me, however, was a moment during the YouTube E3 live interviews, where Bethesda's Todd Howard came on, and when asked about the Elder Scrolls 6, he quickly responded,
"Are you guys gonna do an Elder Scrolls 6?
I mean, that's kind of like the elephant in the room always when we talk about anything, and in these moments to tell our fans, yes, of course we are. I have to be careful what I say. It's a very long way off.
So quick, and it doesn't give too much away. Honestly, even though he said it would have taken a long while before we actually see the game, that fan base can now rest easy in knowing in simple English that the Elder Scrolls 6 is happening. No data mined strings, no leaks, just a simple answer to a simple question. Now, in better news, Valve has announced its second Steam Dev Days conference to be held in mid-October of this year, and this is fun. Not only did Dev Days allow for many veteran game developers to almost give lectures on the many aspects of game creation, marketing, and maintenance, but it has also opened the eyes of Valve fans to how many things are done within the company, and depending on the topic of a certain talk, Dev Days can be incredibly interesting even for the non-game developers. Now let me get this out of the way. Dev Days is a game development workshop, and not a traditional games conference where announcements are made, so do not expect to see any news on upcoming Valve titles. Now, this does not downgrade the event's importance, however. The only reason we know that Valve leaks things is because of Steam Dev Days. So expect new Valve information, but not a new game announcement. Now, unfortunately, Valve doesn't seem to like to make much noise nowadays, a point furthered by Dota's 6.88 patch being released in the middle of E3 with no prior teasing. Now, 6.88 looks to balance mostly Hero's abilities before this year's International, and although some of these changes are huge, the amount of them are not, and 6.88 seems to really be something done to fix many issues seen within the players' minds from 6.87, so they don't become large problems during the competition. This also seems to be the case with DreamHack Summer and ESL 1, starting soon for Counter-Strike Global Offensive, as a small update was pushed that made a few odd changes. First, and probably the most welcomed, is the addition of a ladder to bombsite B in Nuke. However, changes such as the stairs added to the platform on B in Cobblestone seems to tear up the community a bit. There were many other minute minute changes to Mirage and Cache, and I recommend reading the excellent article by Max Rager, link in the description. It goes into each individual update and even offers before and after shots for every map change. Better than even how Valve explains their updates. But to be honest, it is getting easier to top Valve's explanation of updates nowadays. Take the TF community, for instance, as recently, frequenters of the major update speculation thread on Facepunch were visited by TF team member Jill, who stopped by to tell everyone the monumental Team Fortress 2 news that the next update is gonna be Neato. Some may scoff at the small amounts of information being given here, but what you don't understand is how much is hidden here. Neato is a combination of two words, neat and O. Neat meaning a place or thing arranged in an orderly, tidy way, and O meaning oh. If we take that first word and translate it into Italian, because there isn't an Italian merc, it translates to pulito, which is important. Well, it's important because if we pull out the I from pulito, it becomes an anagram of Pluto, which was a planet before being voted to not be a planet. But it is in space. Now, how does space relate to Team Fortress 2? Well, Robot Destruction asteroid updates were available until the TF team voted not to do it, just like Pluto. So this means that Jill's Neato comment on the Must thread confirms Robot Destruction asteroid coming in the next TF2 update. Your secrets are out, Jill, so why don't you add me on Steam and we can talk about TF2 and maybe even Pluto? I'm serious though, please add me on Steam. But anyways, that was all the stuff that Valve has done in recent times that I felt was noteworthy. The lab recently did an update, and my Play the Lab Without VR fix is not working anymore, but I am talking to my buddy, and we are going to try and get that working soon. Everything else is really just being drowned out because, hey, it's E3 right now, and even though the press conferences just ended, Nintendo still has their stuff, and the actual show floor opens up tomorrow. I'm still excited, and E3 is a great time, just Valve fans need to realize that if Valve's going to announce something, they won't do it at E3. People will make the argument that Portal 2 was announced at E3, but it wasn't. It was announced in Game Informer. The only thing announced at E3 was that Portal 2 was coming to the PS3. So, if you're waiting for Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, Day of Defeat 2, Counter-Strike 2, Team Fortress 3, any of these games that really don't have any evidence other than Left 4 Dead 3 and Half-Life 3, just wait. Anyways, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. If you want to support the creation of these videos, where I can maybe get a budget to be able to buy new equipment and also games as they come out, maybe support the Patreon page. Link to that down in the description. If you don't want to be able to support something monetarily, I do have a P.O. box. Address to that down in the description, where I open up everything on live streams, and you can send maybe a hard drive or maybe a game, and everything will be opened up on live streams. And remember, I live stream 3 times a week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Exact times down in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Tyler McVicker. This is Valve News Network. Have a good day. Adios.